Welcome to Shark Week. Wait a minute. Welcome to the nightly Nuge. While we talk about Shark Week, Ted, just imagine the Jaws music. Doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo. Here I come. All right. You were on Miami Vice. You spent a lot of time down along the coast. Surely you have some shark story.
Well, speaking of Shirley, I was down in Key West. We bought a place down there. I was down with Shirley and Bob Burns down there in Key West. I think it was just before the Miami Vice. And, you know, I'm an old Detroit carp shooting, bow hunting carp shooter. I love bow fishing. Shot a lot of carp and a lot of rough fish. But just for Shark Week, I never heard of Shark Week because I have this thing called life. I actually live a life. I'm cocked, locked, and ready to rock the clock around the clock, Dr. Spock. I mean, with my dogs and my wife and my children, my grandkids. We're always out there, aim small, miss small at the target range, having the time, always shooting our mystical flight of the arrow. But back then, I didn't know there would be a Shark Week, but nonetheless, I shot a shark with my bow and arrow. Here's a nurse shark that I literally shot with my bare recurve down off a Big Pine, whatever that Big Pine Key is. I shot this shark with my bow and arrow with Bob and Shirley Burns. Surely you jest. And here it is. So Shark Week, if that Jaws music could play, here he comes. Well, you had no idea this was going to happen. So if you want to celebrate something as stupid as Shark Week, then I'll get my bow and arrow and I'll shoot me a damn shark.
Well, that's pretty impressive. But I have to tell you, I just disagree with you. I watched those shows, man, and some of the things they get that. Listen, I saw a guy the other night. He was in a little plexiglass tube, and he's filming sharks. And in my mind, I'm thinking, what could possibly go wrong? And a shark about 200 times the size of that shark came up, and guess what? He blasted apart this little plexiglass deal. And this poor bastard, he's out in the ocean swimming for dear life while a 18-foot, 16-foot great white is trying to figure out what just happened. I mean, it's crazy, some of the things they show on there. Pretty entertaining stuff. But let's get to the music part of what we're doing. This week, we talked about that Cardi B wet ass something song that won the Grammy in 2021. And it seems to me that someone like you, who is a wordsmith when it comes to music, you've had some pretty risque songs, but clever. I mean, I love the way you always say, I wrote Wang Dang Sweet Poo Tang, and I meant that.
Yes, it is. It's autobiographical.
Well, Wang Dang Sweet Poo Tang is very suggestive, but it's not graphically pornographic. You know what I'm saying? There seems to be so as a songwriter, I mean, you obviously had the idea to write about Poontang, and you did it in kind of a, I don't know if you can use the word classy with Wang Dang Sweet Poontang, but compared to white ass or compared to wet ass, you know what? I think it's pretty classy. And you've had some others. The Raw Dog, Warhol. You have a few songs that are suggestive, but classy.
Well, Wango Tango may be the greatest love song of all time because you haven't lived till you pretend your face is a Maserati. My point being is that I do it with tongue in cheek or tongue in all kinds of areas. And I have fun with that music because let's just be perfectly honest. You know, we talk about God, family, country, Constitution, Bill of Rights, Ten Commandments, Golden Rule, the American dream, being the best that you can be, good over evil, you know, positive spirit, positive energy, work ethic, the spirit of the wild, law and order, all the important things. All that is very important. But you know what's even more important? Sex. We don't talk about it much. But sex is what makes the world go round. I don't know if you watch Mrs. Nugent's Shemaine Nugent, Real America Voice, Faith and Freedom. And yes, it's about faith and freedom. But when I watch Mrs. Nugent's Real America Voice, Faith and Freedom, I ain't thinking faith or freedom. I'm thinking other things. There's a foundational pulse in mankind. And mankind, just for those who are going to the education system in America, mankind includes all human beings. It's not gender specific. It's a term for humanity, you numbnuts. Anyhow, the point is, all of mankind pivots on how often we can reach orgasm. Let's just be perfectly honest. There would be no rock and roll if it wasn't for the pursuit of the eternal orgasm. In fact, I have every night on stage an eargasm because my guitar is so stimulating. And my audiences are always filled with the most beautiful, dangerous, sexy, gyrating, writhing females. And it inspires all those grinding, soulful, sexy, rhythmical guitar licks in all your favorite music. But what Cardi B, first of all, she's probably frustrated because though it might be Shark Week, it might take a great white to satisfy her. And or maybe a hammerhead. I don't know what she needs because I don't know how you can lift up enough slabbage to get to the good stuff. So Cardi, you might want to just back down on the muck tuck. And for those who are victims of the American anti-education system, muck tuck is the blubber from a whale that provides nourishment and insulation, nutrition, and fat for the Inuit people. The Inuit people, some of the greatest people in the world. I love them. I cherish them. I revere them. I hunted the mighty muskox with them, and I tried muck tuck. And my Detroit barbecue taste buds couldn't handle muck tuck. Now, see, I'm going on quite a tangent here on the Nightly Nuge because people need to know that there's more to life than whatever your life currently exists on. All this information would go to the core of the cultural deprivation, the abandonment of the spirituality of sex. Ultimate sex has a powerful spiritual component when pursued properly. And if you're talking about a wet ass pussy and the abuse of that wet ass pussy behind the controls of blubber, you're missing the whole point of meaningful sex, especially the spiritual side of sex. This is quite the Nightly Nude because no one's ever spoke these words before, and it's overdone. And I was on with the Dr. Ruth show, and I tried to educate her on it. But here I am to help. So Cardi B is just a freak, and the song is just nasty. Wang Dang Sweet Poontang is a genuine love song and having fun with the whole pursuit of the eternal orgasm. I rest in peace.
Well, Ted, I just want to say this. I know my priest, Father Richard McDonald, listens, and I just want to tell you, Father, after this episode, I'll be seeing you at the confessional here in about 1 hour.
You might want to spend the whole hour in there. I don't know. But what I'm saying is reality, and some things are still considered taboo. And Cardi B can express her First Amendment rights in that song, but that the Grammys gave it the #1 song when it's just repugnant. You shouldn't be abusive to sex. You should be respectful and honor the act of procreation, even in its recreational side effects. So Cardi B song, I applaud her for, no, I don't. I don't applaud her for anything. But the Grammys identified that as the #1 song, but Jason Aldean's song that condemns violence and criminality is ostracized, tells you everything you need to know about the cultural toilet flush that we find ourselves in.
Well, Ted, all I can tell you is thank you, because as I watch the rest of Shark Week, every time they have hammerheads on, I'm going to think about tonight's episode. Well, tomorrow, let's get back on track, talk about hunting. Let's talk about Hunter Nation's Pride 365 effort right here on Shark Week.